The Torres corporate structure is an idol to marketing and consumerism. Every single story of this half-mile tall structure is filled in every conceivable way by advertisements, pandering and catering to the Dove Strip specifically. It's like Times Square vomited on a tower. You park out front. There's a large area in the front that's similar to walking in front of a casino in Vegas. There's like a big fountain that almost as big as the Bellagio has, large slate steps that go up into these areas that like aren't designed for anything except to look big and to carry advertisements. There's standees or little almost phone book looking things that are just filled with rotating advertisements, assaulting you with sound, smell, and in some cases sampling tastes of different food, people standing out there offering stuff. This time of day, or what passes for day on Almanac, is not really that busy. There's a few people walking in and out, but most people are sticking to the street, and as you ascend these steps, perhaps in your vehicle, like there's a special way you can take it up sort of in this maze of marketing. You park it in front and head inside. Have y'all made a appointment with Catalina Torres, or are you just going in blind?
Claudius probably had someone set it up and specifically didn't really tell her what it was, like just put time on her calendar kind of thing.
Perfect.
And was just like, meeting with Claudius. Didn't mention anything else about what it was, who else was coming.
This is going to go great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll skip straight to the 70th story. The elevator brings you up and you can see through it. It's glass. And unless you've done any research into architecture, the fact that this building stands during any storm that Almanac throws on it is an act of God, because every wall that it could possibly be glass is glass. It's just looking through a sea of translucency. And as the elevator pops up, it brings you up in the middle of the floor, and you just look out into this sea of individual offices and hallways and doorways, all made of glass. So it's just like looking at 100 people around you, but you can't hear any of them. They're all working away desperately in their own sections of the building. High level ad execs or producers all working away on some project they've never ever been to the ground floor of. Doesn't look that appealing. Like when I thought of this idea and you actually imagine looking out onto this floor, it's got to look awful. It's just got to look like people standing up. That's all your eyes get drawn to. But for some reason, this is appealing to them. Maybe it's to make sure everyone is working, or maybe there's been too many inter-office romances. Who knows? But
as they're zooming up the window elevator, Vivian leans over to Ulysses and says, "You see that guy just drop all his coffee?"
Well, at least there's one shining ray of pleasantness in all this. Now, both of you have legal backgrounds. Do you think there's any case for me pressing charges for the assault upon my eyes?
I believe they think of subtlety as something that happens to everyone else.
He leans in to Vivian and says, "Was that good? Was that funny?"
"You're doing great."
He looks pleased.
Claudius is just like rubbing his temples still, because now he's had a drink at whatever time of day this is. He didn't sleep. He's going to do one of his least favorite things. He's just rubbing his temples, and he laughs a little bit. They live in a glass house, but I wouldn't underestimate them. They're not afraid to throw stones.
I brought the smoothest stone with me.
Vivian squints, trying to figure out if she's the stone or if his brain is the stone.
Yes, I didn't get that one, Ulysses. I'm so sorry. It's been a day.
He looks to Vivian and says, "That one didn't work, did it?"
"Am I the smooth stone?"
"Yes."
"Oh, thank you."
Well, I thought a smooth stone would be more effective at throwing than, like a gemstone, which you clearly are. He looks back to Claudius with it, arches an eyebrow like, huh? What's that? You think she's buying it?
Ulysses constantly vying for...
Just wants approval. Claudius is probably smiling wistfully at all of this. Maybe a little more sad than he should be, but smiling nonetheless.
All he misses his wife.
No!
Oh, God.
Hey, did you know my wife's dead?
you can see Catalina Torres before you approach her office and even before you enter. She's wearing all pink. I'm talking pink leggings, pink clothes.
Yes, tell me
Those
more.
are pink too. Yep.
But she's wearing a motorcyclist's leather jacket, but it's something from Almanac, some creature you're not familiar with that almost has like an alligator-like texture, but has been dyed pink. And she's wearing that over her shoulders, and then her arms are free. They're not through the jacket. That's just like over her shoulders. She's at a standing desk. There are no other chairs in here because she doesn't want to give people the time to sit and wait a while. As you enter, she's got a square face, very minimal makeup, if any, and then just buzzed hair, I think. She does have big hoop earrings, big golden hoop earrings. She sort of reminds you, not in shape, but with her nose and her eyes, they both give you the impression of an eagle. Kind of a hook nose and very wide, intimidating green eyes. As the three of you enter Catalina's office, she very visibly bristles at the inclusion of Ulysses as he enters her domain, but she mostly just focuses on Claudius and just kind of waits for an introduction. She doesn't say anything as you enter. She finishes up something on her standing desk and just sort of turns around to stand and look at you.
Nice to see you. I know I may have put you on the wrong foot. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. This is Vivian.
Pleasure to
and
meet you.
Ulysses of the Rooks,
Pleasure to
current
be here.
scions.
Well, it is nice to meet a couple of like-minded individuals. As you see, we don't care much about privacy here either. As she motions around towards the glass walls.
After her opening jibe about privacy, which, whether true or not, Ulysses believes was targeted at him, and he believes is accurate, his lip twitches, and it looks like he's going to sneer or maybe even snarl, but his lips just lift away, and it gradually makes this weird smile, and he just sits there doing what he thinks is a very polite smile, but it probably looks very unfortunate or disturbing. Like somebody who
Vivian smacks his arm.
like an alien who is trying to smile for the first time.
I trust this is important, Claudius, since this was on short notice. I don't have much time, I'm afraid, today, so if you'd cut right to the chase, that would be helpful.
Well, Catalina, I appreciate your time as always. We do have a sensitive matter to discuss.
One moment, please. There's a tap on the glass as she, holds up a hand to Claudius, and the three of you turn around to see someone that's just, holding up a tablet with kind of a frantic expression, and there's two faces on it, and then Catalina narrows her eagle-ish eyes between the two of them before pointing to the one on the right, and the person just scuttles away to parts unknown.
Oh my goodness, Catalina, you're recasting.
Yes, the numbers are down, I'm afraid, and I think chins are in right now, don't you think? That's what I'm going for. Round faces need to go out.
I thought wrists were in.
Wrists are in, but only in accompaniment with a strong jaw.
I think you're making the right call.
At least that's what the market research tells us. But we didn't come here to discuss the asymmetry of late-night television. Claudius, I interrupted you.
Yes, there's been an incident, and unfortunately the Torreses have been implicated in it, and we would like to discuss and ensure that that isn't true. And if it is, well, we should find a way to mediate our way through this matter.
Well, how unfortunate. I'm sure we'll be able to find some sort of compromise between the four of us. What exactly is the details of this incident?
Claudius looks over at the other two, kind of waits half a beat, and then turns back. A family member of the Rooks had an unfortunate accident, and it has been suggested that someone from the Torres family provided the means for this accident to occur, intentionally or not. We would like to find out whether that's true and trace it back to its source. Ultimately, our goal is not to extract some recompense for you, but instead to find the heart of the matter and release all of us from any issues, legal or otherwise.
Great. Let's get into a bit of a social conflict here, y'all. At the end of 3 rounds, the number of successes and rays you've gained determines how likely she is to cooperate. So if you want to make a persuasion roll for me, Claudius, I would say throw a -1 in there because of Ulysses' shamed hindrance here. Catalina's the type of person that took his involvement in certain things pretty badly. I will tell you that her persuasion isn't the best thing in the world. You've always known her to be a blunt person that relies more on intimidation and just swinging around copious amounts of money.
Excellent. Well, I have a D10 in persuasion and an edge that lets me re-roll it if I don't do so hot, which I just rolled a 2 and a 3. So I think I'll use that now instead of a Benny. I have charismatic, so I can re-roll a persuasion test as long as I didn't critically failure.
Could I have assisted with my lighthearted banter about what is in to disarm her?
You know, yeah, make a persuasion performance roll.
I'd probably be performance. Do I get a +2 because she finds me attractive?
Well, yes, and then a -1 from Ulysses. Actually, for you, it's hate to be a dick, but it's probably a -2 because of like your closer proximity to Ulysses, you know?
I got a 7 to assist, so that's a +1 for Claudius.
An 8, I can do math.
Dang, that takes you 1 below what would have been a raise. So you get 1 token towards the resolution of this. So it's going decently so far, Claudius. She responds with, "Well, I would like to avoid all legal ramifications whenever possible, and I'm sure you and, well, your family would as well, so sure, share what you have, and I'm happy to share what I have towards the resolution. I'm afraid you're going to have to be a little more specific. As far as I know, Luella fell sick, and she's been in a healthcare facility for a little while now, but I don't know anything beyond that, and don't exactly deal with healthcare or chemicals of any kind, so I'm not sure what we could have contributed to."
This is me asking, not trying to be a dick. Would it be known that Luella was the one who did that? Or is that like her showing her cards a little bit?
I guess we didn't talk about this at all. I just assumed that if Ulysses has taken over, like, I don't know how you avoid that. Yeah, I don't know how you avoid that getting out. I don't think she knows anything. Like, she's probably just guessing. Like, I don't think she knows why Luella's out. But, like, what would the Rooks have put out, you think, if anything?
Probably something to that effect. Something innocuous that doesn't call too much attention to it, that also hopefully would not cast too many aspersions on Ulysses because of his past. Something that's believable and not shady looking. So I think her going into a healthcare facility is perfectly reasonable. On the heels of that, I just noticed I have a note written in my notes from session 2 way back when that we have +1 Torres rep or a favor of some sort from the Torres family as a current. I don't remember what it was from. It was from
Was it from the party? It had to have
from
been
something in the party.
Oh, you either like critted a roll so hard or someone else did, and I think you lobbied for a future favor or reputation gain because of that.
You know, sorry audience, but I think what I remember happening was we didn't even settle on what that was. It was just like, you rolled so well, I was like, well, what family do you think you have favor with? And you were like, fucking Torres. Cool.
And that makes sense to me. And I don't have a specific idea for how to bring that up or to use that in the situation. I was literally just paging back through my notes and saw that, but it could pertain to what we're doing here if we need it. So if there's like, if we did them a solid, or if we had some sort of dealing in the past and, a favor we could call in if necessary, that's something we could lean on. But I also don't want to upset the trajectory of what we're currently doing.
Maybe for the talk, like for the prep of the party itself, there was like some special wheeling and and dealing, and we got like a real good thing going with the Torres as like prep. So that's how like they were like, yeah, all right, these folks are all right.
Okay, how about just like a +1 to this whole interaction? I mean, that's only a +1 for 3 rolls, but if y'all are cool with that,
I think I'm
we
fine
could
with that.
retroactively give you 2 tokens instead of 1 token.
That sounds cool to me.
Yeah, not to break anything we've done so far, but maybe she isn't even like quite aware of what you've done for her. She just knows that she owes you somehow.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's interesting if it's just one of the, how I've just pulled this information. I'm like, I know this is true, and I don't remember exactly what it's from, but I know it's true. She's kind of like, somebody fucking said something to me about, like, I know this guy did something, and I know he's got a bad rep, but he supposedly helped us, so...
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, yeah, that's cool. That sounds great. Thanks for bringing that up. Good call. That might save you.
2 tokens.
Claudius, we're family. We don't need to beat around the bush like this. Why don't you just come out and tell me what you need?
It was implied that an employee or a family member of your organization provided an unlicensed weapon. I hesitate to call it an edict because it wasn't. It approached it. It was clearly a poor imitation, but those sorts of things are making their way onto the market, and it would make sense. It is within our rights and required, even by the license, that we pursue and remove anyone producing that kind of thing. I'm sure you understand there are limited circumstances under one can understand uses of your license that shouldn't be, but this is not one of those.
So you believe we're involved with some sort of edict that's not an edict, and you think we gave this to Luella?
I don't think you did. I think someone in your organization had something to do with it. And I think you would be as interested as I am to find out who that is so that the blame can fall to them.
All right, make another persuasion roll, unless anybody wants to aid on this roll as well by adding some stuff.
Vivian maybe takes a step forward and chimes in with, basically what we're doing here is making sure that all of our bases are covered and all of our interests in each separate family within our licenses are safe and sound. And we're not here to upset the status quo. We are just here as fact-finding liaisons. She's non-threatening. Both of her hands are clasped in front of her. Very business lady.
It's very important that we set the record straight so that our efforts are oriented in the correct direction. And of course, your assistance in doing so would be very appreciated.
Would his be an intimidation?
I was definitely trying to lace it that way so that it could be.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I got a 5, so that's +1.
I got 5 + 2 is 7. If I have penalties to that, then
Yeah, but I don't think it'd lower you below 4.
I'll give a +1 to Claudius as the primary.
And a +1 from me.
Claudius, then, I think it's a net +2 because of the favor and the shamed cancel out.
Excellent. How many bennies do you get?
3.
Cool. Well, I'm going to spend 1 because I rolled 2 and a 2. There it is. Blew up at 10.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah, Claudius, bringing it, baby.
So an effective 20. How's that grab you?
Well, she rolled a 3, so that's 17 above. So that's 4, 8, 12,
Oh my
16. So you're at 6 tokens already, my dude.
Wild, dude.
She's going to give you information, but I think she has an ask. In order for her to give you this information, it's something she needs to do, right? I think she just nods her head up and down as you're talking, kind of in that way where you're setting your bottom jaw and your bottom lips and just like, yep, until... All right, I guess I'll just come out with it, but I would prefer this be off the record. You wouldn't mind if I activate a jamming device, would you?
I would prefer it.
She activates something on her computer. The tinge of the glass around her office changes into a hue of red or very light red, the hint of pink. And then we get a wide shot of the entire floor in nothing but transparent glass, and then this one office in the center with this sheen around it as we cut back inside. So when I do tell you who is implicated in these counterfeit edicts, what do you intend to do? You intend to take my family, your family, to some extension to court?
Well, I think it depends very much on the circumstances of what's happened. Is it a rogue individual that's certainly made choices that do not reflect what the Torres family believes in and can be separated, charged on their own, made an example of? That's one option. The other option would certainly be something that the entire Torres family has supported this and implicated themselves and should face all sorts of penalties, fines, and perhaps a stripping of their licensure for certain things.
You think you could strip us of our licenses?
No,
Claudius,
I don't.
Your nephew plays unlicensed music every day of the week. You know how many shows, if we wanted to go back through history, we could take you to court for? You think you have the legs to stand on to take us to court, to hold us responsible for something that your family is responsible for? Your brother hasn't been selling edicts, and the free market responded. I've thought it was a poorly kept secret. Many of the families have been buying for, I don't know, a month or two now. When I had an opportunity, I saw it and I bought in bulk. I bought about, I don't know, a dozen edicts. I had kept them for a while trying to find a slate. God knows I don't want to spend eternity with my mother-in-law, but recently they were stolen from a warehouse on Noonside. So I'm afraid we don't have any evidence besides the edict I acquired, which I'm sure you'll not be able to find, that you could prosecute us for. I certainly am not manufacturing them. Frankly, I thought you were doing it since your brother isn't. Whoever's doing this, I think they're just responding in a way that any reasonable person would. You've created heaven and stripped it away from us. Now, if that information is worthwhile to take me over to court over the fact that I'd like to live longer than this body has left, well, hell. Take me to court, and we'll see if you can fund it after Dorian puts you under.
What a fine speech, Catalina. The arbiters aren't here at the moment, so I don't know that we need to be quite so performative about it. I'm not going to take you to court. I would like to find this person. I'm a little overwhelmed that you've chosen to purchase that many without coming to talk to, well, Tex or I first. It's not something that I'm seeking to prosecute you on. What I want to do is get to the bottom of those that are counterfeiting it, remove it, and then we can decide from there. You've always been understanding of Dorian's idiosyncrasies, and we appreciate that.
Can we just have you make one more persuasion roll to see how much you beat this metric by?
Could I argue for that last one to be intimidation? Because it clearly was more threatening.
Yes, and just take the net +2 instead of having the other just two come up with lines again. I think that's fine.
Could we also intimidate since the light's lower in here now and our cyber eyes are just glowing like cats in the dark?
Ooh, yeah, I like that. That's a cool way to not have to roll for it.
9 plus 2 for menacing would be 11, and then plus another 2 would be 13.
Well, she got a 2, so you have 8 tokens. I'm going to read the 6+ token result. The target is eager to help or agree. She gives more than expected in a negotiation or provides more support than requested. Frankly, I did go to your brother. You're not involved in the manufacturing, and he runs the business day to day. I actually asked Ophelia initially, but she forgot, so I went to him directly, but the price he gave me and the options he gave me were so limited. I thought, why not roll the dice on some? And I didn't think to come to you with that information because, as you have mentioned, it is highly illegal for me to be messing with your license. That being said, I have no desire to hold you back from discovering whoever this is. I'm afraid that I am a dead end. We are looking into who raided my warehouse, Noonside, but so far our belief is that it was some ranchers up there. But in the meantime, I am worried about the state of your family, Claudius, and I don't want my grandchildren or my daughter to be without the luxuries that we have been afforded our whole lives. So whatever you need in this, I will help you. If you need resources to help investigate, or if you want me to start up a new branch to look into it, that's fine. But I would be worried about us exacerbating the situation by more people finding out. That being said, many of the other families have bought counterfeit edicts through black market sources, and they might be easier to go after legally. An avenue I could explore instead, if you would prefer.
Fuck, that's a lot.
Sorry, fuck, I should have stopped.
No, not in a
wow.
bad way. No, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. So that means everybody's buying these.
Claudius is like, we're fucked.
That's bad, and also, like, if everybody's doing it, like,
Oh no.
how are you gonna... I don't
Yeah,
know.
I-
If everybody, including the fucking Arbiter, is doing it, how do you stop it? Like, you go
Yeah.
after one person, it's just gonna be one of those...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
I've had that reveal prep for so long, I forgot it was going to be a reveal to you guys. That's my bad.
It's a
Yeah.
big deal, yeah. One detail I'd like to throw in there is during her little speech, or during her talk with Claudius, he was specifically mentioning singling out one specific family member to, like, take the blame or to hoist up as the sacrificial lamb, and that really hits home for Ulysses. Because that's exactly what happened to him. So I think during that conversation, especially the final lull, he was much quieter and a lot of his intimidating demeanor slipped. But he's now much more thoughtful about the circumstances they're in and the gun that somebody else might be resting under.
Vivian's just standing there like, wow, Keaton is not doing a good job tracking these down. Kaz was right.
Yeah, Vivian and Kaz both.
Oh, thank God Kaz isn't here. Shit. I think Claudius, there's no chairs in here.
No.
So I think he just like leans against the glass and like doesn't fall to the floor, but just takes a second. And like she's listing all these things off after she said, here's all the ways we could support you. Here's all these things that we could do. But by the way, everyone has bought a counterfeit edict. Go have fun with that. And I think he's just quiet for like what feels like an eternity. It must be 2 or 3 seconds at most. And just from cupped hands, he looks up. I've always admired the vision that your family has, Catalina. I admired it in Felina immensely. It's one of the things that she taught me most. I would like to bring this extended life, this heaven to everyone. It's what the Crow family has been working on for generations, and distracted though we may be from it at times, and caught up in the niceties of life and politics of families, that is still what I would like our legacy to be. I admire your vision very much, and I am struck by the idea that everything we have worked for, all of the things that we have sacrificed and done and made room for and given up and died for, might go away. I need your help, and I don't know what that is yet. Certainly we must stop the source of whatever these are. I need to go home and clean house and have a long talk with Tex. But whatever help you're willing to offer, I will take, and I will pay back as soon as we are able. I don't know what else to say.
She presses a button on the computer. The windows go back to transparency. I think she comes over and gives you a hug. It's not very in character for her, but I don't know. I think she thinks about Felina and who you were to her and how much you meant to her. And, Catalina's a self-made woman. She was not born into this life, and she knows what it's like to not have it. And that empathy, I think, along with her remembering her daughter, comes to her forefront, embraces you, and then takes a few steps back, straightens your jacket, slaps you on the chest a few times, and goes, well, I'll be here when you need me.
I'm sorry the two of you had to see that.
What human emotion?
Yeah. You're not supposed to show that, right?
Strong experiences in these last weeks, Claudius. You have nothing to apologize for. He will place his hands in front of him and give a small partial bow at the waist to Catalina, and he'll say, thank you for your time and assistance in this matter. We don't know each other well, but as I'm the acting head of my family for now and the foreseeable future, I wish to cultivate positive relations wherever possible. And I respect Claudius a great deal, and clearly you are family, and that I also respect. Be careful with your counterfeit. It would not be wise to use it, in my experience, at least.
And I would be careful with your discretion, Mr. Rook. As much of a poorly kept secret as this is, it has yet to come out. And whatever has happened to your sister, I'm sorry for, but I would not hold it against my family. It is important in this time that we discover very swiftly and quickly who is manufacturing them, and I trust your privacy in this matter.
I'm a believer in second chances, ma'am. At least, if no ill will is apparent. And of course I admire a woman who has built everything around her and is more concerned with building bridges than burning them. I think we have that much in common.
I suppose we do. Maybe we should talk later with the two of you about something a little more pleasant.
That sounds just delightful.
Yes, I would enjoy that, I think.
All right then. Well, I need to change the fall lineup to Riss. So...
Good luck.
Wait, there's no fall.
See, fall is when lava falls from the sky.
It's just the same picture
They must
every
have
time
calendars,
you turn the thing
right?
over.
Like, how do they...
Yeah, you could just say the next season.
Can Ulysses make a general insight check to see if she's, like, telling the truth here, or if she's being forthcoming about her intentions and that type of stuff?
Sure. Why don't you make a spirit roll? I would say get a +2 from the fucking 8. And on my end, I'm going to roll her persuasion, which is only D6 this whole time, but I'm not going to tell you the result.
I got a 7 + 2 is a 9.
Yeah, she seems very forthright. It's obvious she cares about Claudius, and it'd be pretty wild of her to just confess everything if she wasn't intending to help, you know? Like,
Sure.
You don't get the impression that there was anything more to it than that. With that, I think we cut outside this castle of entertainment to this slate promenade. Your car has been brought around. It's a little bit of a walk to get to it, you know.
Vivian pulls out her phone. Alan, why did you park so far away? These heels are menace.
And outside the front of the building, there's like 5 business people, all in suits, but they're like a traditional suit you'd think of, but instead of a collar, it like goes up into a turtleneck that comes up to their jawline in black. So like you can still see the tie and the white collar coming down in the front of the blazer, but then it wraps up to cover their necks, you know, except for one of these dudes standing there. All of them are really fit, 200 pounds, between 5'10" and 6'2". The guy that's 6'2" is probably like 250 or something, all muscle. The biggest one of them has that neck thing unzipped a little bit, and you can see some like glowing blue tattoos inside. And I need everyone to make a notice roll.
Can I lobby for Vivian to get some sort of plus on her notice roll because of how abysmally they're dressed fashion-wise?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, I blew up an 8 into a 4. I got a 12.
What was my bonus? I got 2s.
I guess your eyes are drawn to them, huh? Yeah, I'll give you a +2. I probably would have given you that before I heard your roll.
Hell yeah, I'm at 4 then.
Hey, you like when dice tell a story? Because I rolled snake eyes.
Oh no,
Amazing.
he's very
He's
distraught.
so distraught.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. He's really not like looking around at all.
Claudius will be the only one at a disadvantage for the first round of combat, as these guys pull out small handguns from their jackets with the practiced precision of someone from a Jason Bourne movie. Close to the chest, you know, so it doesn't get knocked away, barely pulling them up, barely aiming them, but just aiming them towards you. As before they like fully expose those, they throw out grenades on the ground that immediately start to pop out this violent viscous smoke that almost immediately covers the area around you. We get a shot from further away behind a camera that's like looking at this concrete jungle, and we can just see the smoke engulf you before they even draw their weapons. And let's deal initiative.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, y'all, we're gonna get assassinated.
Assassino!
Boy, I'm really glad I had a cool scene right before I die. That was great.
The guy with the neck tattoo, the leader of this group, his name is Roland. He gets a jack. The rest of the assassins get a 5. Ulysses, you get a king. Vivian, you get a 3.
All right.
And Claudius, you get a 6. Ulysses, you're up first. I would say with you and Vivian's notice roll, you can tell that as the smoke starts to fill the air, they are all aiming at you.
Me specifically, like Ulysses?
Ulysses specifically.
Oh god, okay.
Oh, cool. Never mind. I won't die.
Claudia says, bye, idiots.
What are the laws for violence and attack or self-defense in this city that Ulysses would know in this, and maybe not have time to really think about too much, but like...
Oh man, let me tell you, Ulysses, it is a Texan's wet dream. You know the castle doctrine? The castle doctrine is like, if someone is in your house, you can kind of just shoot them. You know, if they're doing anything to threaten you, or like if somebody tries to break down your door, even in Colorado, you can just shoot them and you're fine. The fact that they've pulled on you, like, it might not be on camera, but I'm not sure that's going through your mind right now. But if they pull on you first, you can just shoot them. No big deal.
And how many of them are there? There's like the main guy, Roland, whose name I definitely know in character.
There's 5 of them total. The same number as the card they drew. Including Roland, though. So I guess there's only 4 on the 5 card. They're really close. They're probably like 3 inches away from you.
Oh boy, and our car is 12 inches.
Yeah, so you could theoretically run it in one turn.
Theoretically.
You're going to be getting a -2 because of the smoke for shooting, FYI.
I do have my vision enhancement, which gives me both, I can only do one at a time, low light vision or thermal vision. And thermal halves any kind of vision penalties.
Well. Wouldn't you know, as your eyes switch to thermal, you see these assassins putting on their own pairs of thermal goggles.
Oh god,
Pissed.
It's almost like they were prepped assassins.
I hate it when they do their homework like that.
Okay, so Ulysses is going to immediately just shout, "Go! Run!" Then he is going to shoot whoever the closest one is to their path, or like is closest to hitting them. It's really just going to be a snapshot type of thing, so.
Sure, sounds great. Do you want an extra, though, or you want Roland?
I don't know that he was able to like identify the leader necessarily. I got a 12 on my notice, but.
I bet you saw the blue tattoos.
Okay, then yeah, let's go for the leader. Why not? I'll roll some dice here. My shooting is a D4, but my edict is our shotgun, so I get a +2 to hit. If I'm within 5 inches, which I apparently am right now. Oh, I blew up a 6. Yeah, into a 6.
Hell yeah.
Into a 1. I got a
Yes.
13 +2 is 15 to hit.
Hell yeah.
I guess the first raise can be for damage. I've been playing a lot of Edge of the Empire, so I'm just letting it influence me here. If you have any other ideas for like the second raise, since it can't be damage, like maybe something else is useful for you.
Maybe we can talk about that in a second, based on how I describe it. I don't need anything like insanely mechanical here, but
Cool.
So shotguns deal 3d6, but with a raise I get 4d6. So I got a 4, a 4, a 4, and I blew up a 6
Sheesh.
into a 2, so 20 damage overall.
Good lord.
2 armor piercing, yeah.
Oh my god.
They have exactly 2 armor. That's a bit unfortunate for Roland. Well, 6 toughness then without his armor, so 3 raises. He's gonna soak. Man, he just rolled a 4 to soak. It's gonna be 3 wounds, huh? So it'd be 2 wounds. Is that right? Fuck. I'll try re-rolling one time. I swear I'm not making this up. I blew up an 8, dude. So he soaks 2 and takes 1 wound.
As the adrenaline starts to kick in, Ulysses turns to this group of men, and we see the pupil of his eye flicker and contract. And in a first-person view, we see them partially obscured behind this cloud of smoke, and then the thermal vision snaps on, and he can see the somewhat distinct movement of these red, orange, yellow silhouettes through the smoke. He clenches his left hand, and we see just this tingling sensation start to ripple through his body as the light of his circuitry starts to shift from his right hand and his upper body all the way across to his left hand. And there's a soft hum in the air as this power builds and builds and builds. And he thrusts his left forearm out in almost a Tai Chi-like stance. And we see the hexes, the honeycomb on his arm, flicker and ripple out in waves and rearrange themselves into a series of small frills like satellite dishes that angle themselves forward. And there's a rippling in the air as this power builds and coalesces. And then with a snap like thunder, there is a small concussive thunderclap and a displacement in the air as this circular shockwave blasts out and smashes into the lead man. We can see through the thermal vision that the skin on his body is blasted and rippling with the force of the blow. And he does not pause. He just turns and starts to sprint towards the car.
As that blast hits him, I think we see like the buttons on the front of his shirt just get thrown open to expose the armored vest underneath, protecting him as Ulysses bursts out of the smoke cloud. I don't think the smoke cloud is that large. Centered on you, I think it only takes 4 inches to escape it. So you're a couple inches out at the end of your turn and 4 inches away from the car.
Okay. I think from the smoke cloud itself, it's still very much there and billowing from the grenades, but there's this temporary perfect circle of displacement from where he was standing, and it sort of tossed a lot of the smoke out in a cone that funnels towards them. And we see, as he's running, we see the glow of his arm almost superheated like a nova, and then it starts to return back to its normal shade.
I'm going to spend one of my bennies to make Roland become unshaken because he failed. Roland cuts through the rest of his people, shaking his head and grimacing, setting his jaw with determination as he bursts out of the smoke cloud, catching up with Ulysses, walking across, like walking diagonally at a fast pace, his knees kind of bent, his whole body like pulled into this hunch, centered around the gun, held only a few inches from his chest as he points up and just quickly pops off rounds from his pistol towards Ulysses. Okay, buddy. He's going to use a double tap.
Oh my.
Shit.
Oh my.
I should have redrawn my initiative.
You got a 5 on a D8. All right, +1 to damage as well, yeah? Ooh, I will re-roll my damage roll. I got a 6. I blew up a 6. 15 damage, but no armor piercing.
Okay, my current overall toughness is 7, so that will be 2 wounds, and I think I do need to spend a Benny to try to soak some of this. My vigor is a D6.
Okay. This nerd's a little in shape.
I got a 5. I'll take the 5. I'll eat a wound.
Yeah, so 1 wound to Ulysses. What does that look like? I'm just picturing this assassin that doesn't even care that he's been injured. It's just pop, 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 you know, every training coming to fruition and just firing off shots center mass.
So I think we see Ulysses just sprinting towards the car now, the tail of his cloak fluttering in the breeze. Some of the bullets are tearing through the hem of the cloak itself. One of them bounces off his shoulder, and we see that it does hit, and there's a small cascade of sparks as it pings off. And then I think another one just hits him low in the small of his back, and he staggers forward and just continues going in motion.
Claudius?
Claudius is good at following directions when screamed at him by an upset Ulysses. So when he yelled run, I think that's what he wants to do. He's debating, can he kick one of these like smoke grenades over at them and then just book it? Because he doesn't know they have thermal vision. He has no idea, but that seems useful to him.
Athletics roll?
Cool. I got a D4. A 3.
You kick it in their general direction.
Yeah, or he just whiffs it. I actually did roll a 5 on a running die. So apparently he's good at running for his life, if nothing else. This all happens at once to Claudius. This shout comes up from Ulysses basically at the same time that he notices like this smoke starting to pour up. I don't even know if he really notices the assassins is more than just a knot of people. He sees this giant thing emerge from Ulysses and knows where the limo was last, so he just puts his head down and sprints the last direction he thought the limo was in. His suit jacket is just like flying behind him, unbuttoned. He's in leather loafers. These are not the right shoes to be doing this in. He tries to kick at a smoke grenade totally ineffectually, like stumbles a little bit, and I think probably like hits his head on the limo as he finds it. and is scrabbling at the door to try and get it open and look behind and see where Ulysses and Vivian are.
As you look back towards the smoke cloud we cut inside it a few seconds ago, as the assassins raise their pistols and then see Ulysses take off running, move out, breaking the smoke cloud, the swirling of your sonic-powered weapon, mixing with the movement of their bodies, breaking free of the dark cloud and taking aim at Ulysses and opening up. Oh my god. Okay. Ooh, none of them are wild cards. One hit with the raise, one did not hit with the raise, and then 2 missed. 3d6. Wow, that is about as lucky as you can get. That is 5. 113.
Nice. That will not be enough to do anything to me.
Second attack, blew up a 6. That is 11 damage.
That will be exactly 1 additional wound, so I will spend my last Benny to try and soak it. -1 because of my wound penalties currently. I blew up a 6, so I have successfully soaked that, and I'm no longer shaken. But I am out of Bennies.
Vivian, let's cut to the moment.
Could I jump in and play an adventure card? My adventure card is reinforcements.
Oh, shit.
Play during combat. Reinforcements arrive for the bad guys.
Are you shitting me?
The exact number and type is up to the GM. Every player character may immediately draw an adventure card, however.
Thank you for listening to Sounds Like Crow's Terminus. We are happy to be back from our unscheduled hiatus. We had some technical and medical issues that prevented us from releasing content for a while. I had a rough December, okay? But we are back with weekly releases. With that out of the way, thank you to William Ecker for the theme music. You can find his work at musicdirecker.bandcamp.com. I was responsible for the rest of the music on the show. You can find me on Twitter at Marshall Caleb. Claudius Crow was played by Austin Holt. You can find him on Discord. Ulysses Rook was played by Kira Nesbitt. You can find her GMing her show, RPG for You and Me. During our time away, Kira came out to us as trans, and until we catch up to more recently recorded content, our past selves will be misgendering her and using her dead name. From now on, she'll be credited as Kira here. I'm very proud of my friend, personally, for fearlessly blazing forward the trail that we all wish to find. The hard scrabble road of discovering who we truly are. Love you, my friend. Vivian Rook was played by Allie Nesbitt, who you can also find on the show RPG for You and Me, wherever you listen to this podcast. I think them's the credits. We'll see you next Monday.